Sanbanani Dumelang family and friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you are new, let me introduce myself. My name is Nthabi, and this is another episode of hashtag Road to CASA. So if you are coming back as a loyal subscriber, thank you so much for the support. And if you've been watching my videos and you haven't hit that subscribe button, please kindly do so to show your girl some love. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to the family, and I hope you're here to stay. So please don't forget to just leave a comment for me in the comment section, and please share with anyone who's an aspiring CA or studying accounting or auditing or even finance, because I do cover that specific aspect as well. Then you can just share it with them when the content is applicable, so that we can just help everybody, because we just want to succeed together. But thank you so much for the love, and thank you so much for the support, and I just wish that we can grow together. But thank you so much for the 500 subscribers that I have so far. Thank you so much for the comments that you leave in the comment section and just sharing the content with everybody. Thank you once again. So today is not like any other episode. We're not going to be imparting knowledge or sharing some insights. We are going to be having a giveaway. Yes, you heard right. I'll be having a giveaway for standards. So your ISAs, as well as your tax legislation and your IFRS standards. So stay tuned for more details on how the giveaway will work. So the first giveaway will be the ISA 315. So normally in the old standards, it is combined with the other ISAs. But when it was my year, when I was doing CTA, they changed it. So this is the 2020/2021 edition. And this is where the ISA 315 came separately. As you can see, this whole book just speaks about ISA 315. So because auditing was not really my strongest module, auditing was really not my strongest module. However, I had to make this lovely book my friend, because most of the questions centered around this beautiful standard, which is ISA 315, right? So I needed to make sure that I flag it. When I say flag it, I mean I flagged it to know where everything is, like the process in ISA 315. So when you break down this beautiful standard, right, ISA 315, guys, it was triggered all the time. So the first thing I highlighted was the definitions, because sometimes, English is not our first language, right? So I had to have a flag for definitions, because if they are speaking about high level, sometimes it skipped me, right? So I needed to highlight the definitions and flag them. And then when it came to other important things, then I also highlighted them. But I think I did mention, I think it was in my APC series, when I said I'm a person of color. So color meant everything to me, right? So for example, in this case, the purple, I knew it is the heading, right? And then the orange would be that subject, the topic of that sentence, right? And then for yellow, it's the general information. And then when I highlighted in blue, it was an AND test. Remember, there is an AND or test, where an AND test, everything has to be applicable in order for the criteria to be met. Or with an OR test, one of these have to be applicable, right? So that's how I color coordinated everything. And if you saw pink on the highlighters, there was a risk that was identified. So that's how I highlighted my auditing standard. So then I moved to the process of step 1 in ISA 315, which is understanding the entity and its environment. Trust me, to highlight and flag. I didn't flag it a lot, but I just have one flag to just show me that these specific paragraphs speak about understanding the entity and its environment. And then the second part of the process was understanding the entity's internal controls. So like I said, one flag again, but trust me when I say the highlighters doing the job. They did the job, right? So that is what I covered in these specific sections. And then when we move to the actual identification and assessment of risk of material misstatements, I also highlighted that section, right? So I mentioned that ISO 315 has a process, so I flagged it according to that specific process to make it easy for yourself, because sometimes when you have a lot of flags, it gets a little bit distracting and you don't know where everything is. So I try to minimize it but have the essential, information there. And then I further highlighted the risk at financial statement level, because it's either the risk at assertion level or financial statement level, right? So that's also what I highlighted. It has its specific section. And then the next one was examples of the risk of material misstatements, because sometimes you are so stressed you can't really go through everything, and this is basically what helped me to get a general idea of what I should look out for, right? Because when you have a standard, you shouldn't rely on it too much, because you're supposed to know what you are looking at in the exam. But then sometimes it's a very long list, so you can't really memorize everything. This is basically the guidance that I used. And then also another long list, like I said, is very long, so that's really what helped me. And then the next thing I flagged were the control activities, and basically the controls for the assertions. So yeah, these were the general controls. Obviously your segregation of duties, your reconciliation, your verifications, and all of that was included in the highlights. And then we moved to the orange highlights. It meant that now I'm going into IT controls, right? IT controls, shame, they dribbled me when I was in varsity, but I literally had to flag them too so that I can understand, right? So like I mentioned, I see color, so I knew that when I was moving into orange, then it's IT controls, right? And then that's basically what the orange flag section deals with. It deals with your general controls, your access controls, your changes to the IT system, your backups, your data conversions, and the networks, because I feel like it was always triggered in a way in terms of the IT aspect of it. So these controls, they give you a list, a general guidance, right, on how to basically approach an auditing question and how to answer it. And this is basically what I flagged in the ISO 315, and I just hope that it can be useful to the person that I want to bless, with this book. And then we move to this baby, right? This is the standards for Companies Act, Company Regulations, the APA, the PFMA, the King Code, and this is volume 2, right? This is the SAICA Handbook for 2020 and 2021. So just like how in any other module, I highlighted with flags. I'm a flag person, I'm a color person, so you can just see it's detailed, right? So I just made sure that I knew where everything was, especially with the different sections. And then obviously in the first section, it is the SAICA CPC, right? So the things that are mostly highlighted in this section are your fundamental principles, your threats, as well as the NOCLA, right? So obviously if ever you contravene anything in the CPC, then the NOCLA will be applicable when you are a CA, right? So all of the things are detailed in there, and the other sections are highlighted as well in depth. Of course, you can see this is only the CPC section, right? So you can see they're highlighted in depth, and everything is just color coded, just like how ISO 315 was flagged. Then the purple is the heading, the blue is the and or test, while the and test, the green is the or test, and then the yellow is just general information, and orange is just something to attract your eye. And then if you see pink, obviously pink is like red for danger, and when you see pink, you must just know it's a threat of some sort or something is wrong. Then we move forward to the Companies Act. So in the Companies Act, you can see it is very colorful, right? It matches everything that I mentioned in terms of highlighters. So how my brain works is that it works with color, and the colors had to be consistent. So if I saw it in any other module, the colors will still mean the same thing, so that we are not confusing the brain. So the same principles of highlighting applied. And also I color coded it as well. The pink means that we are grouping the sections together. So number 1, the pink section here, I say that it is related persons, right? And then everything that in terms of related parties is underneath that pink section. Then when we move to a different component in the Companies Act, we put it in blue again. So for example, here it's going to be solvency and liquidity, and then everything that speaks with solvency and liquidity is underneath this. So I categorized my flags so that I knew that if I'm speaking about directors, these are the sections that are supposed to be applicable. So I knew that if it's pink, we are on a different topic, and everything underneath it speaks about that topic, right? So that I'm not confusing myself and there's just structure. Then we move to the APA, right? The one that deals with auditors. And like I said, same highlighter colors, but then this time I used yellow and orange. So where you see orange, that means it is a topic, and then the sections underneath that topic are in yellow. So I grouped the sections so that I know which one goes where, right? I had to marry the sections together so that I am not confused when it's time to write. So for example, one of them deals with the registration of auditors, and anything that relates to that, I put it under this like orange topic, right? And then the second one is the conduct of auditors. Anything that relates to the conduct of auditors and how they're supposed to act and behave, everything is listed underneath there, but it's according to the sections in the APA. So grouping the sections in the APA and Companies Act will really help you, because now you know if maybe an auditor contravenes some rule, you know you need to go to the breach section, right? So that is how I flagged the APA section. And then the last section is the King Code, right? So with regards to the King Code, I mean, you can't really remember everything because King is just so long, and highlighting will actually help you, and the flags as well. So King, I thoroughly highlighted King because there's no ways I could remember all these sections. And same principles with the flags. If you see orange, it's a topic, and then the principles underneath it are in yellow. So I follow the same procedure throughout, and I just hope that whoever is going to get this book will be blessed, you know, with the highlights and the flagging, because it is done in detail. And you know what, I can't wait to just give this away. Then we move to the famous tax legislation, guys. This tax leg, it carried me through all the storms, and this was basically my Bible. So this is the 2020-21 edition, and obviously it covers your income tax, your VAT Act, your estate duty, transfer duty, your Securities Transfer Act, and the Tax Admin Act, right? This is volume 3 of the 2020-2021 edition. So one thing about me that you guys know already is that color will mean something, right? So when I was flagging, I realized that, you know, if I have the same color, I'm just going to get confused, right? So I needed to be strategic in how I flag my tax legislation. So this is how I did it, right? So everything that was in green, I knew it has to be included in gross income, right? So everything that you see here that's in green, it is gross income. And then everything that is in blue are your expenses and your capital allowances, right? So everything that was in blue, it was that. And then when you see the orange ones, right? Your orange ones are like your significant sections, you know, your VAT Act, your VAT adjustments, as well as your tax rates and your schedules, right? Your schedule, you have 1 until I think the 8th schedule. So those were the orange sections. And then when you saw pink, that was everything else. Your CGT, your trusts, your estate duties, and your deceased estate, your disposals. Your disposal principles were in pink, right? And that is basically how I color coded, you know, my flags throughout. Obviously, if it's green here, it's going to be green here as well, so that we just don't confuse the brain. but that is how I flagged my tax legislation. So just like in the other books, the highlights mean the same thing. You can see there's a bit of purple, then we know what we are talking about in terms of this is the heading. Then you will see a bit of blue here, that means that is an and test. Then you'll see green, this is an or test, right? And then where you see pink, that is basically all your provided that, right? So obviously in taxation, you're going to have a rule that this is applicable. For example, section 11A is going to be, all expenses are going to be deductible, provided that they are not capital in nature, right? So all your provided that's are in pink in the tax legislation. So it's basically saying that you have a rule, and then what is contrary to that rule, or the opposite of that rule, then that'll be in pink, but the highlights remain the same and they are consistent throughout the entire tax legislation, from the Income Tax Act to the VAT Act to estate duty. This is, the same thing, right? So obviously the highlights and the flags are in detail. I feel like this is my most flagged textbook, or SAICA handbook. This is my most flagged one. So yeah, that's basically how I flagged, because like I said, this is my most flagged SAICA handbook. Like, you can see the flags, right? It is done in detail, and the person who's going to be receiving this beautiful tax legislation will not have to worry about re-highlighting it or reflagging it, because I try to do it to the best of my ability and do it in detail. And then we move on to accounting. So this is the 2020 edition for the IFRS books. It's the red one. So like I said, the same, the flags are in depth, right? Because I'm a flag girly. And with regards to highlighting, this is the same as auditing. My principles always stay the same. You will have the purple, obviously. I mean, at this point, you know what the highlights mean. So every single section and every single IFRS is highlighted in the same way and in depth. So everything that you need, you will find on the flags. You will use it as a reference, because that is how my brain worked. And it stayed the same. So yeah, this is the 2020 IFRS, right? It's not your IAS. It is the IFRSs. Yes, it's the IFRSs, right? So this is part 1, so part A1, and this is the IFRS handbook. So this is also a part of the giveaway. And then we move on to the IAS book. So this is the 2020 edition again. It's part A2, so it's part 2, because the first one was part 1, which was the IFRS, and then this is IAS. And this is basically same things. This is how I flagged it, and these are the number of flags, in this handbook, right? So this is also part of the giveaway, and obviously whoever's going to get the accounting part 1 will also have to get these. So they come as a pair, and that is how they're going to be given away. So whoever's going to be the lucky winner for this combination, you are covered. You are covered with the flags. So how will the giveaway work, right? So you will have to go in the comment section and explain what you do when the going gets tough, what gets you going, what motivates you, right? So that you can encourage the next person, right? So that you can also tell us, when the going gets tough, what do you do to motivate yourself to still be on that CASA journey? Because we know it does get tough, but just state your story on, what you do, even if it's just, remembering the people back home, so that you can just get a better life for yourself. If it means that, you are just determined to be that CA, if it means that prayer is the thing that is just getting you going, then share your story on what is actually helping you when the going gets tough. When cost is chowing, what motivates you to chow back? So after commenting in the comment section, you will also be required to repost this video on the social media platforms. It's either you can repost it on Instagram, TikTok, or you can repost it on LinkedIn. However, you will be required to just tag me and repost this video, right? So on the screen you will see my Instagram handle, my TikTok handle, as well as my LinkedIn handle, and you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel to be eligible to win these amazing textbooks for the giveaway. So with regards to the distribution of the textbooks, obviously with accounting, book A and book B, they go together, right? So the IFRS and the IAS go together, and one person will receive that. And then with regards to auditing, the book that has the Companies Act and all things ethics all the way to King, as well as the ISA 315, that will be one person receiving that pack. And then the tax legislation obviously will go to a different person. So we will have 3 winners. And in the comment section, I will just look at, the best responses on the specific question that was stated, and then I will announce the 3 winners. So I look forward to all your responses and reading them to just know what gets you going when the going gets tough and when course is chowing. So the giveaway will go on until the 9th of August, where I'll be announcing the 3 lucky winners of the giveaway challenge on the YouTube platform in the comment section. So just keep a lookout for that. So if you're watching this video and you yourself are not an aspiring CA, but you know of a friend or a friend of a friend who is an aspiring CA, and you want, for them to receive these textbooks, just share it with your friends and share it with everybody so that everybody can participate in this challenge and no one is left behind. So we have reached the end of our episode and the giveaway session, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I can't wait to announce the 3 lucky winners. So see you next time and stay tuned.